Hey there guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to talk about the day that I found out that I had epilepsy. So I was a junior in high school. I was about 17, and I remember I had just gotten my driver license, and I was going to go to this party at my boyfriend at a time. At a house of these people that were from college, and we were still in high school at that time, me and my boyfriend. I was a junior in high school, he was a senior, and it was like all very new to me, and I remember I was feeling really nervous. And then the day of the party, I remember I had to drive to his house, and I had just gotten my driver's license, so I was like really nervous about driving for the first times. And I had to pick up my dad's car, and I had to drive all the way to his house where he was waiting for me. And I picked him up, and he told me, as if I wasn't nervous enough, he said, have you ever followed anyone before? And I was like, no. And then he was like, well, you're gonna have to follow my friend, because he's gonna guide us there, because I don't really know the address, so he's gonna guide us there. And I was like, okay, fine. So then I had to picture this. I was just 17, I had just gotten my driver's license, I was really nervous, and I was driving my dad's car. I had to follow this college guy so that I could find out the address, because we didn't know the address. So I followed this guy, and he stopped at a liquor store to buy some alcohol and some stuff. And then we went to the address where the party was going to happen. And mind you, this party was from people that were in college, and we were still in high school. So this was a big deal for us. So I was so nervous. I remember I couldn't even park my dad's car because it was like a parallel parking situation, and I remember there was a ditch like near the road, so I was having a lot of trouble parking the car. And then he was like really pressuring me, like, oh, you don't know how to park the car, and I was like, you know what, just be quiet and let me do this. So there I was trying to park the car, and then I gave up, and I was like, you know what, ask your friend to park for us, because I just can't do this. So he asked his friend, and his friend parked the car for us, and then we left the car and went to the building where the party was gonna happen. When we arrived there were like a lot of strange people, but they all seemed pretty nice, but they were just people I've never seen in my life, and people from college. So I walked in, they got my coat, they got my stuff, and I remember sitting down on like this chair next to this girl, and she offered me like some fruits or something. I guess she offered me like grapes, and I remember having these muscle spasms that I couldn't control, like shaking a little bit as if I was about to fall out the chair. And I remember her saying to me like, oh, you don't have to be scared, you're not gonna fall. And then I thought like, well, I know I'm not gonna fall. Like, I thought to myself, this is ridiculous, I'm just sitting on a chair. I mean, how hard could that be? And those were the last things I remember. And as I try to like turn it back, I remember a couple of flashes. Like I think I remember the sensation of being carried out in like those beds that the paramedics have. So basically the next thing I remember is I woke up in an ambulance, and the guy asked me, he said, did you drink anything? Did you take anything? And my answer was no, because I hadn't. And I said no. And he said, did you drink? I said no. Did you take anything? I said no. And he said, we're gonna call your parents and get in touch with your parents. And I remember feeling so scared that my first reaction was no, don't do that. Which I think was the worst thing I could have done, because obviously by the time that they asked me and I said not to contact my parents because I was afraid they were gonna be mad, they probably thought I had something to hide. But anyways, they took me to the hospital. They did all of the exams and stuff, and one of the exams that I had to do was the I think it was the MRI, the magnetic resonance machine, where they look at the activities in your brain And then I had to take that. I took that exam. It's like a huge machine, looks like a donut. It's like very round, and it makes a lot of noise, and you feel really confused. But anyways, then I remember I got this doctor came up to see me, and he asked my boyfriend at the time to come in the room and tell him what happened. So basically, the way that he described was that I fell off the chair, I started shaking, and I also started drooling a little bit. And I remember him like telling what happened and me thinking like, well, this is not what happened. Like, I don't remember this, but I didn't really say anything. I stayed silent, and the doctor said, yeah, that's very similar. That's what you're describing is really similar to an epileptic seizure. So he left. My parents came in the room, and he said that we would need to take a couple more exams to make sure that, you know, that I had in fact had epilepsy, because one seizure in a person's lifetime, it's normal, it can happen. But if it happens more than once and you have like a historical background or some kind of reason for that, then the person can be diagnosed with epilepsy. And in my case, I actually did one more like exam, I guess you can call it, that they put a lot of electrodes in my head, and I had to basically sleep in this place while they monitor the electric activity in my brain, and they subjected me to a light that blinks in a specific interval. And I guess the way that my brain reacted, I was just about to have a seizure. So they decided to put me on medication. Also because of my history, my mom had epilepsy, and my two aunts from my mom's side, so my mom's sister, they also had epilepsy. So in my case, it was genetic, because they looked at my brain too in the MRI that I told you guys that I had to do, and they were looking for deformities and, you know, or a specific lobe of the brain where the activity would start, and they couldn't really find it. So in my case, it was genetic. So there you go, guys. That was my first story about my first seizure and how I found out that I have epilepsy. And stay tuned for more videos. If you want to keep in touch, I'll tell you more about my other seizures. And make sure you hit the subscribe button, and see you in the next video. Bye!